अमित कुमार केडिया जी, अमित जी।
I think he's there.
Yes, yes, we are there.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Where is Sheetal Nathu? I welcome each one of you. We will be starting our program by another 15 minutes. Till such time, it is a joint program of RERA India Education and Resource Federation and मास सेवा। तो इसके लिए मैं सुनील जी को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हमारा जो शीतल नातू जो आर्म टू होम का जो इनिशिएटिव, उनको फोन करके ज्वाइन करने को बोलिए ताकि वो उनसे बात करेंगे।
बिल्कुल।
तो मैं जितने लोग जुड़े हैं उनको सबको रेरा इंडिया एजुकेशन रिसोर्स फेडरेशन प्लस महासेवा के तरफ से स्वागत करता हूं। और ये प्रोग्राम हमें मीडिया पार्टनर ऑफ कोर्स सुनील शर्मा जी है हमारे साथ। और मैं अभी एज ए वेलकम स्पीच देने के लिए रेरा इंडिया एजुकेशन रिसोर्स फेडरेशन के जो अध्यक्ष है अमित कुमार केडिया, उनको स्वागत करता हूं। अमित जी, ओवर टू यू।
आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। संडे की सुबह को एक इनिशिएटिव लिया है इस लॉकडाउन पीरियड में जो खत्म हो गया है, लेकिन जिस तरह से अपनी इकोनॉमी रिवाइव हो रही है, उस रिवाइवल के अंदर जो सेकंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्टर है रियल एस्टेट, उसका रिवाइव होना बहुत जरूरी है। और उसी की रिवाइवल के लिए आज रेरा एक जो एक्ट 2017 के अंदर आया था, उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है कि उसको सब लोग समझे। एक जो कंफ्यूजन सबके सामने हर टाइम रहता है कि रेरा आया है कंज्यूमर के लिए, तो आई अगेन से ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, कंज्यूमर के लिए आया है। रेरा एक एक्ट आया है जो कि रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए है, और रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए देयर इज नो कंज्यूमर और नो डेवलपर, only who can strengthen this. Altogether there are 9 stakeholders, maybe the developer, maybe professionals like chartered accountants, company secretary, cost accountants, lawyers, architects, engineers, or RWAs and agents. All together, when all these people, 9 pillars of real estate sector would going to come together, then there would be a day when the sector would be strengthened out. So this is the main thought of the federation, to bring each and every stakeholders together. अब इन सारे stakeholders को how we can educate, because once the education is there at large, automatically जो भी सारे उसका implementation है, वो implementation बहुत easy तरीके से, बहुत सुचारू रूप से, बहुत simplified manner के अंदर हो पाएगा। And once this thing happens, the sector as a whole would automatically revive. सब लोग आज के दिन ये मांग रहे हैं कि हमारे को रिवाइवल पैकेजेस दीजिए, हमको ये फैसिलिटीज दीजिए। अनडाउटेडली दैट इज एन आर्म दैट वुड बी रिक्वायर्ड, बट उसके साथ साथ उसका जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस है, जो भी प्रैक्टिसेस, नॉट टू नेम क्या अच्छा हुआ क्या बुरा हुआ, बट नाउ इट इज अ न्यू इंडिया, इट्स अ न्यू वर्ल्ड। इस न्यू वर्ल्ड के अंदर हमको देखना है, हमको समझना है किस तरह से हमको बढ़िया से हमारा काम करना है, उसका जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है हर चीज का वो बढ़िया से लेके आना है। सो एक ये छोटी सी कोशिश है रेरा इंडिया की महासेवा के साथ में, जो हम लोगों ने हर संडे को कोशिश की है कि कैसे सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स अक्रॉस कंट्री जुड़ के इस एजुकेशन को लें, और एजुकेशन को लेके इसको बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस अपना इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करें ऑन द ग्राउंड लेवल। इट इज नॉट अ वर्क ऑफ अ डे और टू। हम ये नहीं मानते कि आज जो पिछले 70 सालों में हुआ है वो एक दिन में या 2 दिन में या महीने या 3 साल के अंदर खत्म हो जाएगा। Things would going to take time, but at a given point of time, we need to initiate it. We need to start with it. With this, I request Ramesh Prabhu sir to take the proceedings further for the days. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. मैं अभी हमारा जो प्रोग्राम है उस हिसाब से हम चलेंगे। हमारा जो इनिशिएटिव है फार्म टू होम, मुझे लगता है कि वो हम
कुछ दो मिनट में कनेक्ट हो रही है शीतल मैडम।
तो मैं आपको बताऊं, एज ए फ्रॉम 28 मार्च 2020 से महासेवा एवरी डे ऑन डेली बेसिस हम लोग 11 बजे से 1 बजे तक ये प्रोग्राम वेबिनार कर रहे हैं और इस वेबिनार में हम अलग अलग विषय को लेके आ रहे हैं। और रेरा को हमने सही ढंग देखेंगे तो हमने 4 दिन वीकली दिया है। अभी 4 दिन रेरा को कैसा दिया है, हर वेंसडे हम लोग वेरियस डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो इमोल प्रॉपर्टी को लगता है, वेरियस डॉक्यूमेंट्स स्टैम्प ड्यूटी रजिस्ट्रेशन, वो हर वेंसडे हम ले रहे हैं। इसका मतलब स्टैम्प, लास्ट टाइम हमने गिफ्ट डीड और रिलीज डीड के बारे में बात की और ये प्रोग्राम अभी शाम को होगा 8 to 10। 1 जुलाई से ये प्रोग्राम अभी शाम को वेंसडे होगा on various type of document, whether it could be a development agreement, conveyance deed, or converting the land into conversion or whatever, diversion, whatever you call. So all related to land subject stamp duty registration we are doing on Wednesday. उसके बाद हम लोग ऐसा देखने गए तो जो सैटरडे है हम लोग इसके ऊपर डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। मेन सैटरडे जो है रीडेवलपमेंट दिस व्हाट यू कॉल विद बिल्डर्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन इंडिया के साथ रिवाइवल ऑफ द स्टॉल्ट प्रोजेक्ट, जो भी स्टॉल्ट प्रोजेक्ट है उसके रिवाइवल कैसा होगा हर सैटरडे हम डिस्कस करेंगे। उसी तरह से थर्सडे जो है हम रीडेवलपमेंट के बारे में बात करेंगे, वो सेल्फ रीडेवलपमेंट होगा। तो मुंबई में या महाराष्ट्र में रीडेवलपमेंट को लेकर बहुत सारा डिस्कशन चल रहा है, उसके ऊपर हम चर्चा करेंगे। और लास्ट है रेरा इंडिया के साथ जो है हमारा संडे है। इस तरह से 4 दिन वीकली हम रियल एस्टेट के ऊपर दे रहे हैं और हमारा मकसद ये जो दिन, चारों दिन हम लोगों को रियल एस्टेट के बारे में ज्यादा से ज्यादा जानकारी दिया जाएगा और ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को बुलाएंगे। अभी जो सोशल जो हमारा CSR एक्टिविटी है उसमें खास करके प्रोग्राम में कोविड होने के बाद हमने हर दिन जो भी गवर्नमेंट का सर्कुलर आता है उसको वेरीफाई करते हुए हम वो सर्कुलर एक कोविड टास्क फोर्स का माध्यम से हम लोगों तक पहुंचा रहे हैं। और जो भी कंट्रोवर्शियल इश्यू आता है उस कंट्रोवर्शियल को इश्यू लेकर हम उसके ऊपर डिबेट रखते हैं, डिस्कशन रखते हैं। और खास सैटरडे हम ये भी रखते हैं कि अधिकारी को हम लोगों तक पहुंचाते हैं, जिसको हम बोलते हैं तेट बेट। मराठी में तेट बेट मतलब बिल्कुल सामने। बिल्कुल सामने का मतलब हम अधिकारी को लोगों का सामने लाते हैं, जो भी लोगों का सवाल है उसको हम लेके जाते हैं। और उसी सोशल इनिशिएटिव में हमने एक फार्म टू होम इनिशिएटिव हमने शुरू किया। फार्म टू होम का इनिशिएटिव जो है हमने शीतल नातू को सौंपा है। शी इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ फार्म टू होम। तो अभी एक 3-4 मिनट में हम शुरू करेंगे हमारा रेरा इंडिया का प्रोग्राम। उसके पहले हम चाहते हैं कि शीतल नातू को इनवाइट करते हैं और हमारा फार्म टू होम का जो इनिशिएटिव है वो एक 5 या 6 मिनट में आप संक्षिप्त में हमारा लोगों को बताइए, ताकि लोग समझेंगे कि व्हाट इज दिस फार्म टू होम ऑल अबाउट। शीतल नातू, ओवर टू यू। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। फार्म टू होम जैसे सर ने कहा इज अ सोशल इनिशिएटिव। ये हमारे जब हम सब कोविड के लॉकडाउन में अटके रहे, देन दिस हैज बीन कंसेप्चुअलाइज्ड बाय महासेवा एंड प्रभु सर। तो ये हमारे फार्मर्स को भी राहत दिलाता है और हमारे सोसाइटी मेंबर्स, हम जैसे सारे मेंबर्स को भी राहत दिलाता है। नाउ व्हाट डज इट डू? इट गेट्स फार्म प्रोड्यूस टू योर होम्स. Now, how different is it from any other service providers or getting the farm produce to your homes? तो यहाँ पे हमने आपका जो ऑर्डर है वो एक ऐप के द्वारा कलेक्ट करने का प्रारब्ध सोल्यूशन किया है। So through this Android mobile application, you can place your orders as you require, and वो पैक करके आ जाएगा। For the contamination part, to prevent us from all the COVID contamination, it is getting packed from the farmer's end. और आपको जो चाहिए वो fresh produce आपके घरों तक आ जाता है। And आपको online payment करना पड़ता है, तो again that COVID contamination part is being completely protected. And as for farmers, they get exactly what is the need, what is the demand, what kind of produce is needed. तो उनको बैक एंड से एक सोसाइटी का पूरा बल्क ऑर्डर की रिक्वायरमेंट आ जाती है, तो उनको भी राहत मिलती है कि यहाँ पे इतना प्रोड्यूस मुझे पहुंचाना है। तो देयर इज अ रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल द सोसाइटी chair people, all managing committee members to cooperate and इस इनिशिएटिव को जुड़ जाए, ताकि हमें अपनी मेंबर्स को और फार्मर्स को एट अ टाइम वी कैन डू द समाज का सेवा में भी हो सकता है और हमारा अड़चन भी दूर हो जा सकती है. So requesting everybody to join in this movement of getting the farm produce to your homes. There are several initiatives that we are doing here is कि उसको ozonization भी हम कर रहे हैं. So because of which सारे आपके germs हैं जो वो सारे it will be completely germs की रहित, it will be all clean and clear to consume. So और चीजें हैं, we'll have COVID gears in that platform. We have several export quality vegetables as well, because export भी जैसे आपको मालूम है बंद है, तो we get good produce, export quality produce will also be available to you. ऐसी बहुत सारे उसमें benefits हैं if you join this program. This will be available on Play Store, as I told you. And you have to just go look for your society. If it is registered, it's well and good. Then you have to go and look for what is available. Otherwise, आपको society register करनी है, and in a day's time there is a number there. तो आपको phone करके बताना है कि हमें आपका ये start कीजिए. तो इसमें जो farmers को अड़चन आती है वो they cannot get small produce to your homes. So requesting the entire society to do a cumulative collected effort to put in your produce. So if you put in a produce, your requirements for 2 days, we will in next 48 hours we'll deliver to you. So that's the appeal. और एक छोटा सा AV है, I will grab your time to show the AV as well.
संपूर्ण भारतात लॉकडाऊनची घोषणा. 15 एप्रिलपर्यंत परिस्थिती सुधारण्याची शक्यता. पनवेल मार्केट यार्ड, पुणे मार्केट यार्ड बंद. फळे, पालेभाज्या यांची वाहतूक होत नाही आहे. शेतात शेतीमाल तयार होतोय पण तो नेता येत नाही. तर दुसरीकडे बाजारात भाजीपालाच नाही अशी परिस्थिती. यावर काहीतरी मार्ग काढलाच पाहिजे. यातूनच श्री रमेश प्रभू सर यांच्या कल्पनेतून फार्म टू होम ऑनलाईन संकल्पनेचा जन्म झाला. त्याला प्रत्यक्ष उतरवण्याचे श्रेय जाते शीतल नातू व त्यांच्या टीमला. 15 दिवस रात्र मेहनत करून अनेक तज्ज्ञांचं मार्गदर्शन घेऊन त्यांनी ग्राहक ते शेतकरी यांना जोडणारा एक महत्त्वाकांक्षी डिजिटल दुवा तयार केला. या दुव्याद्वारे आता शेतकरी आपला माल थेट प्रत्यक्ष निर्धारित केलेल्या हाऊसिंग सोसायटींपर्यंत अत्यंत सुरक्षितपणे घेऊन जाऊ शकतो. घर बसल्या एका ॲपद्वारे प्रत्येक ग्राहक आपला हव्या असलेल्या मालाची नोंदणी करतात. या मालाची एकत्रित नोंदणी महासेवक किंवा नेमून दिलेल्या स्वयंसेवी संस्था ह्यांच्याकडे ती येते. तो त्या मागणीची बाजारभाव व लागणाऱ्या गाडीची व्यवस्था व टोटल किती माल आहे ह्याचे एकत्रितपणे वर्गवारी करून ती यादी शेतकऱ्यांकडे सुपूर्द करतात. सोसायटीवर आलेले हे वर्गीकरण मालाची व्यवस्था करायला शेतकऱ्यांना अत्यंत सोयीचे पडते. दुसऱ्या दिवशी सोसायटीमध्ये जाऊन या मालाची डिलिव्हरी करता येते. माल जेव्हा ग्राहकांना पोचतो तेव्हा ते सेम ॲपद्वारे ओके म्हणल्यानंतर शेतकऱ्याला त्याचे पैसे लगेच ऑनलाईन पेमेंट पद्धतीने सुपूर्द केले जातात. काही दिवसांपूर्वी स्वप्नवत वाटणारी ही गोष्ट आता प्रत्यक्षात उतरली आहे. आंबे, द्राक्ष, कलिंगड, फळभाज्या यांची विक्री पुणे, मुंबई यासारख्या ठिकाणी सुरू होत आहे. अधिकाधिक सोसायटी या उपक्रमात सहभागी होत आहेत. योग्य बाजारभाव, संपूर्ण पारदर्शकता व संपूर्ण मालाचे वितरणाची हमी देणारा हा प्लॅटफॉर्म शेतकऱ्यांसाठी वरदानच ठरणार आहे. तर मग गड्यांनो, वाट कसली बघताय? आजच फोन करा आणि काम सुरू करा. लगेचच काम सुरू करणं महत्त्वाचं आहे आणि आम्ही आहोतच की मदत करायला.
देसाई साहेब,
आपण हा जो उपक्रम घेतलेला आहे त्यामुळे वी आर बिल्डिंग मिसिंग लिंक बिटवीन द फार्मर्स अँड कन्झ्युमर्स.
Okay.
आता जे एपीएमसी आहे की कृषी उत्पन्न बाजार समिती,
Correct.
ती सुरू होण्यासाठी खूप प्रयत्न झालेले आहेत आणि चालू पण आहे.
हो.
तरी सुद्धा त्यांना काही अडचणी येतात आणि
Yes, sir.
त्याच्यामुळे काही वेळा माणसं मिळणं किंवा इतर काही अडचणीमुळे 100% कृषी उत्पन्न बाजार समितीतून सेवा मिळायला थोडासा वेळ लागतोय.
हो.
परंतु आपण ह्या ज्या गोष्टी आता करतायत की शेतकऱ्याचा त्यांनी उत्पादन केलेला माल, मग त्याच्यात भाजीपाला, फळफळावळ, इतर शेतमाल हा डायरेक्ट कंझ्युमरला त्याच्या दारापाशी मिळणार असेल तर त्याच्यासाठी गरज होती ती असोसिएशनची किंवा फेडरेशनची.
हो.
ती गरज तुम्ही पूर्ण केलेली आहे. तुमची फेडरेशन याच्यात उतरल्यामुळे
Correct, sir.
मी या हाऊसिंग फेडरेशनला मनापासून धन्यवाद देतो. तुम्ही याचा पुढाकार घेतला म्हणून सीए रमेश प्रभू
Yes, sir.
तुमचे पण आभार. आणि त्याचबरोबरीनं महासेवा आणि इतर ह्या ज्या यंत्रणा आहेत या सगळ्या आलेल्या आहेत आणि सुभाष लाला साहेबांनी यात लक्ष घातले. तेजेंद्र त्यागी यांनी लक्ष घातलेलं आहे. विनोद घोसाळकरांसारखे सहकार क्षेत्रात काम करणारे, सामाजिक क्षेत्रात काम करणारे कार्यकर्ते याच्यात उतरलेले आहेत. या सगळ्यांच्या एकजुटीमुळे आणि परस्पर सहकार्यामुळे आज लॉकडाऊनच्या काळामध्ये जेव्हा ग्राहकांना काही वस्तू मिळायच्या बाबतीत अडचणी होत आहेत तर त्यांच्या दारापर्यंत हा जर ताजा शेतमाल आला आणि तो परत वाजवी दरामध्ये तर खरोखरच ग्राहकांना फार मोठा दिलासा मिळणार आहे आणि ह्या लॉकडाऊनचा जो काळ आहे तो सुसह्य होईल आणि त्यामुळे ह्या उपक्रमाला मी मनापासून शुभेच्छा देतो. माझ्याकडून कोणत्याही प्रकारचं सहकार्य आपल्याला लागत असेल तर आपण अवश्य सांगा. आम्ही सर्वजण आपल्या बरोबर काम करायला तयार आहोत. आम्हाला त्याचा आनंद होईल. धन्यवाद.
येस सर, धन्यवाद सर. एकच मिनिट मी आपल्याला सांगतो आमचं.
बिल्कुल धन्यवाद शीतल नातू जी. ये थी शीतल नातू जी और ये दिलासा देगा उन फार्मर्स को और साथ ही साथ कंज्यूमर को भी. इस तरह का हमारे जो उद्धव ठाकरे के सीनियर मंत्री हैं सुभाष देसाई जी ने कहा फार्म टू होम पर. दोस्तों आज जो हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं मतलब एक लक्ष्य लेकर जो काम कर रहे हैं सीए रमेश प्रभु, महासेवा और तमाम रेरा इंडिया और तमाम जो एनजीओ के संस्था, मिनिस्टर, आमदार, खासदार जो लोग जुड़ रहे हैं हमारे एनजीओ के और प्रोफेशनल लोग, उन तमाम लोगों के लिए दोस्तों आज जो हमारे अमित कुमार केडिया जी जुड़े हैं, महादेव बिरला गुजरात से जुड़े, तमाम जो नेशनल वेबिनार है रेरा पर, ये तो मैं तमाम हमारी कोशिश है कि संघर्ष के समय में इस तूफान जो कोरोना के रूप में तूफान है उसके लिए मैं यही कहूंगा और सभी को शुभकामना दूंगा. जोश वाली पूर्ण लाइन है ये. ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें, ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें, फिर क्या मजा है जीने में. ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें, फिर क्या मजा है जीने में. तूफान भी रुक जाएगा, तूफान भी रुक जाएगा जब लक्ष्य रहेगा सीने में, जब लक्ष्य रहेगा सीने में. और हमारे तमाम लोगों के सीने में लक्ष्य है कि इस सुस्ती को, जो अर्थव्यवस्था को शिकार हो रही है कोरोना की वजह से, उसकी सुस्ती को भगाया जाए और हम वेल अपडेट है, वेल एजुकेटेड हो. मैं प्रभु सर को कहूंगा वो इस आगे की इस कॉन्फ्रेंस का, आज वेबिनार का होस्ट करें. प्रभु सर.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सुनील जी. मैं आप सबको स्वागत करता हूं. 15 मिनट हमने डिले किया है, फिर भी आप सबको अगेन रेरा इंडिया फेडरेशन प्लस महासेवा की तरफ से आपको स्वागत करता हूं. और आज का विषय है, महत्वपूर्ण विषय है, वो है सेक्शन 3 जो रेरा में है. दैट इज अ हार्ट ऑफ द एंटायर रेरा एक्ट. तो जहां ये बताया जाता है जब तक प्रोजेक्ट को रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं होता है उसका ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं मिलता है, एफिशिएंसी पता नहीं चलता है, लोगों को उसका जानकारी नहीं मिलता है. कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट रजिस्ट्रेशन होना जरूरी है, कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट रजिस्ट्रेशन होना जरूरी नहीं है, प्रोजेक्ट रजिस्ट्रेशन कब करना पड़ता है और उसका कालावधि क्या है, और अलग अलग जो राज्य में किस तरह से इसका जानकारी दिया जाता है. ऑल दीज थिंग्स वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस टुडे. And without spending much time, though I am required to take a lot of keynote address, but I think we have very good experts across India. So I don't want to spend a lot of time. So over directly to our moderator of the day, that is Mahadev Birla from Ahmedabad. So over to you, Mahadev Birla, who is a chartered accountant, practicing chartered accountant, who is an expert in RERA from Ahmedabad, and he has also delivered earlier 2 lectures with our national forum, and of course he is a regular faculty across India at the different forums. without taking much time, I give it to the floor to CA Mahadev Birla from Ahmedabad. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Hope I am audible.
Yes,
Ramesh
very
sir, I
much.
am audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah.
You can
So,
go ahead.
First of all, I would like to apologize. Some delay was there from my side. And good morning to all of you. Myself, CA Mahadev Birla. I welcome all of you on the today's Sunday special program on RERA. RERA न तेरा न मेरा, हम सबका है RERA. और हम सबके इसी RERA प्रोग्राम में मैं महासेवा और RERA फेडरेशन की तरफ से आप सभी RERA एक्सपर्ट्स का अक्रॉस द इंडिया स्वागत करता हूं. And today's our session, we are going to discuss a very important section, legislative intent, and whatever the controversies are there in respect of section 3, we are going to discuss. We have with us RERA experts and speakers from across the India. So we have with us CA Ashwin Shah from Maharashtra, Advocate Abhilasha from Rajasthan, Advocate Nirija from Uttar Pradesh, and CS Nitin Grover from Haryana. So all these RERA experts and speakers are going to discuss whatever the case law studies and controversies in respect of the section 3. In the beginning, I am going to explain, I am going to throw some lights on section 3, and at the last we have our own CA Ramesh Prabhu sir and Amitji Kedia. They will conclude this session. So I am going to discuss and throw some lights on the section 3. I'll share my screen. Is it visible to this screen? Is
Yes, yes.
yeah. So what is this section 3 talks about? Section 3 talks about prior registration of real estate project with real estate regulatory authority. So the first and important thing start from the wording prior registration. So all we know is that in the RERA we have to register the project. So now the things comes, which projects are going to register? New project launch on or after 1st May 2017, as the RERA was applicable from the 1st May 2017, or the project which has launched before 1st May 2017. Now you all may be thinking what this guy is asking about, because all the projects which were ongoing has to be registered. But the question is very important, and that we will discuss, or I'll throw some lights, the controversy related to that also at the later part. But please keep this question in your mind, what projects we are going to register with the RERA, or what prior registration is requirement. Now some key words and terminology which is in section 3. The promoter, section 2ZK, advertisement, section 2B, apartment, section 2E, building, section 2J, real estate project, section 2ZN, planning area, section 2ZH, ongoing project not defined by the RERA Act, however some state authority has defined, that will be covered by our another speaker. Completion certificate, section 2Q, local authority, section 2ZC, land area not defined, number of apartment, appropriate government, section 2G, and redevelopment of project. These are the some important definitions which has come and which are very important in respect of section 3 of RERA. Now in short, I will explain this section 3, then after I will read the section 3 also, and I will emphasize some matters which are very important. So what is section 3 talks about? Is project registered? Yes. Then there is no restriction on sale and booking of the unit. If project is not registered, no sales booking, no invitation to purchase, and no advertisement and marketing can be done. Now, what is the applicability? So ongoing project as on 1st May 2017, for which completion certificate is received, no requirement of registration. Ongoing project as on 1st May 2017, completion certificate not received, obviously it is required to register. Whatever the project has launched after 1st May 2017, every project is required to register, subject to some exception. What is this exception? Land area less than equal 500 square meter, or number of units in the project is less than 8. Project which are not for sale, and the project which are under redevelopment and not required any marketing, advertisement and new allotment. Friends, again, I will explain this now. Section 3. What is this section 3 talks about? So section 3(1) says no promoter shall advertise, market, book, sale or offer for sale or invite person to purchase. So I have highlighted this point. This section 3(1) banned on the advertisement, marketing and selling of the real estate project or any plot apartment in a real estate project which is in planning area without registering the project with the real estate regulatory authority. So section 3(1) banned on the advertisement, banned on the marketing and acceptance on the booking amount. Now what provision 2 section talks about? Provided that projects are ongoing at the date of commencement of this act, and here the word important is and, for which the completion certificate has not been issued, the promoter shall make an application. Again, the word important is make an application to the authority for registration of the said project within a period of 3 months from the date of commencement of this act. So whatever the word I have highlighted here is very important. Ongoing project, and which has for which completion certificate is not issued, and within a period of 3 months make an application. So in the first slide, I have to discuss that which project are required to register. The project which are ongoing as on 1st May 2017 and for which completion certificate is not received. And we say that section 3 banned on the advertisement and taking the money or offer for sale. So can I say that when the project is ongoing, by making an application, I can take the money, because there are a lot of cases when authority suo moto also takes the action in case of the ongoing project, which make an application, but still they continue their booking, they continue their advertisement without getting a registration certificate. So that's why I have discussed the first slide, that which project are going to require the registration. So in case of ongoing project, whatever the section 3(1) talks about, advertisement, marketing, whether this is applicable in case of ongoing project or not, that is a very big controversy according to my viewpoint. Now further provision talks about, provided further that if authority think necessary in the interest of the allotee for projects which are developed beyond the planning area, but with the requisite permission of the local authority, here I have highlighted the local authority, and beyond the planning area, it may by order direct the promoter of such project to register with the authority, and the provision of this act and rules and regulation made there shall apply to such project from the stage of registration. Now what section 3(2) talks about? This section talks about the exception. So exception, first exception is that is also again a big controversy, which talks about where the land size of the project is less than equal to 500 square meter, or the word is here written, or the number of apartments proposed to be developed does not exceed in 8. So some professional or some judgments are there which says that both the conditions should be satisfied. But according to my view, if any condition is satisfied, like project having a more than 500 square meter, or suppose it's cross the number of unit 8, then the project is required to be registered. Why it is required to be registered? Because this law is made for the interest of the consumer and to protect the interest of the consumer. So we can say, if we interpret this section in this way, both the conditions should be satisfied, then it will be absurd interpretation, and that will not be in the spirit of the law. So my view is that anything is crossed, project is required to be registered. Now what provisor talked, I will take 2 minutes, then I will hand over these things to another speaker. Provided that the appropriate government consider it necessary, it may reduce the threshold limit. So what is the threshold limit? the land size of the project, and the number of apartment. Now what section 3 2B talks, where the promoter has received the completion certificate of the real estate project, these projects are not required to be registered. And for the redevelopment project, when it does not involve any advertise, selling, marketing, or any of any apartment, that project is also not required to register. Now explanation says that when the project is developed in a phase, every phase is required to be registered. Now this is my interpretation in related to this section and my thought on this section. Now I will hand over to this part another to see Ashwin Shah. He is from Mumbai.
Yeah, thank you, Billaji. I am
So Ashwin,
sharing
you
my.
are going to discuss the section case law related to whatever the case laws are in the Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And whatever the controversies are there in respect to section 3. So Ashwin Shah ji is from Mumbai, Maharashtra.
Sure. Friends, good morning to all. We have been taught in our school days the 3 basic layers of any democratic setup, that is legislation, executive, and judicial. Now, section 3 is a classic example of how there are many errors which are committed by legislation while drafting the law, and on account of this error, there are implementation issue and there are interpretation issue. We will discuss various case laws. Today, I am going to discuss the judicial pronouncement under Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Goa, which account for nearly 60% of entire India project registration. Maharashtra is the largest one, and then Gujarat, followed by Goa. Now, let us first look whether section 3 is a substantive law or a procedural law. To my mind, it is a substantive law, and it starts with a restriction. So what are the restrictions? Already Billaji has discussed. There cannot be any marketing without registration of project. This is the first paragraph or proviso which says that no marketing without registration of project. So does it mean that if someone does not want to market any product, market the project, then he need not go for registration? Say for example, today we are planning to build a mall, which I am planning to again lease out or rent out in the later stage. So at this stage, I do not require any registration. This is what the first proviso says. And thereafter, after receiving the completion certificate, I decided to change my mind, and now we are going for marketing. Now, whether project registration is required or not, that is a mute question. So section 3 first proviso deals with restriction on marketing. Then it also talks of timing of registration, where at which point of juncture registration is to be done. It also talks of some of the exemption which Billaji has already discussed. It talks of phase-wise registration, and registration is qua project and not qua promoter. This is to be kept in mind. Now, coming to the very fundamental issue, there has been a situation where prior to 1st May 17, the project was incomplete, but all the units were sold. So entire marketing activity was over. Only some portion of money was to be collected. So whether in such a scenario, registration is required or not, that is a mute question. If we strictly go through the language used in section 3, it says registration is required only for the purpose of marketing. So here in this scenario, we have already done all the marketing. There are no unsold inventory. Only balance money has to be collected as per the stage of construction. So whether registration is required or not, again, in one of the case law, I am not getting the name of that Maharera authority order, where without registration of project, the person has collected the money. He has not marketed, but collected the money. And the penalty of 15 lakh was levied in that case with the direction to register the project. So again, this is one of the debatable issue, whether marketing is a focus or project registration, because the way in which section 3 is worded, it seems that if you want to do marketing, further marketing, then your project registration is required. Now, the second proviso, which is a beneficial proviso. Now, first proviso applies to new project. Now, on 1st May 17, the second proviso was given just to give a benefit to those ongoing project which has not received the completion certificate, and 90 days timeline was given. And these are a relaxation. This was given why? Because there were some advertisement commitment by the ongoing project. So during these 90 days, they can do their advertisement also, and they can get their project registered. But in one of the judicial pronouncement, I will come at later stage. Yeah. Now, sir, here in Maharera versus Sai Estate Consultant, this was the first judicial pronouncement given by Maharera in July 2017, June 2017 itself. Here, what has happened? An agent who was a registered agent, but he failed to put his registration number in the advertisement of various projects of some builder, and the builder was not registered because all the projects were ongoing project. So builder had a sufficient timeline of 90 days, but these are the two offenses which he has committed. He has not mentioned his registration number. Secondly, he has advertised the project which were not registered. So again, this timeline of 90 days was not given to the benefit, was not given to the agent, and he was punished with a nominal penalty of some 1,20,000. So here that question was addressed. Even during this 90 days, whether developer has time for registration, or first he has to get registered and then advertise. To my mind, this was the beneficial provision, and he should be given the benefit of marketing, and later on by 31st July he has to register his project. Now there are issues where completion certificate was not available on 30th April 2017, but it was received in say June 2017, and the timeline for ongoing project to be registered was 31st July. So here the questions were asked to Maharera authority, and in FAQ also they have very clearly stated that such kind of project do not require registration, because if we go to the website and if I have to put a revised timeline of the completion. So already project is completed in say June 2017. If we put the date June 2017, then the window will not go ahead because of technical error. So FAQ was also supporting that such kind of project does not require registration. But in the case of Lodha Besimilo versus Hare Sasar, the part completion certificate was received in June 2017. So for that part of the project, Lodha has not registered the project. So here the authority and the tribunal both have held that registration is required, because on the here authority has given the judgment that no registration is required. But when the matter reached the tribunal very correctly held that registration is required, because if we look at the language of this section, completion certificate is required as of 30th April 2017. So on that particular day, there was no completion certificate, hence the project registration is required. Ongoing project versus part occupancy. Now, ongoing project as such is not defined under Maharashtra, Gujarat or Goa, but it has been given, some of the rules of other states have defined the ongoing project. So what do you mean by ongoing project? The general meaning is the project which is going on is called ongoing project. So in Gujarat, when the draft rules were made public for discussion, there was one provision for these ongoing projects. So then the restriction was placed that those projects which got the approval on or after a particular date needs to be registered. Some kind of relaxation was given. But when the final rule came for Gujarat, this relaxation were taken away. And like Maharashtra, Gujarat and Goa, all the three does not have any definition for ongoing project. Now, in the matter of green space developer versus Parag Mantri, there were some 5 to 6 wing, and customer has booked the apartment in evening. In the evening, the construction was complete. All the units were also sold. Only thing was that completion certificate for evening was not obtained because of some pending common amenities and certain common area development. So this were the fact before the authority. So then authority held that registration is required because there is no completion certificate on 30th April 2017, and the penalty of 50,000 was levied on the developer. And again in FAQ, such kind of question were answered which were supporting to the developer. In such a scenario, here the argument was okay, all the units were sold now and all the units possession were also handed over, but completion certificate is pending for the reason of some common amenities and common area development. So when the matter reached the tribunal also took the same view that there is no completion certificate as of 30th April and project registration is required. But surprisingly, they have reduced the penalty from 50,000 to 15,000, relying upon the bona fide of the developer. But I feel in such kind of scenario, no penalty should be levied because these are the RERA is a new law, and any new law, the intention of the developer has to be seen. And then tribunal reduced the penalty to 15,000 and directed for registration of project. Greenspace versus Parag Mantri. Yeah, in floating scheme, now there are issues in floating scheme. Agriculture, sale of agriculture land is not within the ambit of RERA authority. So there was one case, Mohammad Jain Khan versus MNOI Properties. Here, the promise was to convert this agricultural land from agriculture to non-agriculture, provide some common facility, and accordingly there was one agreement for sale of agricultural land. And when the complaint was filed before the authority, this project is not registered, then authority took a view, see, your sale deed talks about the sale of agricultural land, and agricultural land, plotting of agricultural land is not within the purview of RERA authority. So when the matter reached to the tribunal observed that there are some other promises also, like some common facilities, conversion of agriculture to non-agriculture, and so on. So then tribunal held that registration is required in such scenario. However, there is one circular issued by MahaRERA authority in 2019, I think October 2019, circular number 25, which has given various situations where now, because sub-registrar is not accepting a document for registration, either unless you have a completion certificate or RERA number. So in case of plotting scheme, they have said that once the plots are converted into NA, then there is no requirement for RERA registration. So again, that circular itself is ambiguous and needs further consideration. Yeah, this is the most important and debatable issue, as Mr. Birla has pointed out, area of plot or number of apartment. Now, definition is again worded in a negative manner, notwithstanding anything contained, and then it says, following project do not require registration if either this or this is there. So if I am satisfying any of the condition, that is plot area less than 500 square meter or number of apartment to be developed less than 8, then if I am satisfying any of the condition, then I do not require project registration. So in the matter of Gitanjali Aman Construction versus Rishikesh Paranjpe, the authority took a view, and again FAQ, this question was addressed by FAQ, and their FAQ has stated that in such a situation, here the land area was less than 500 square meter and number of apartment to be developed were say more than 8. So then in FAQ, the MahaRERA authority have addressed this issue, and they have held that they have given the answer that project registration is required. But if we look again at the drafting of the section 3, which again is a legislative error, then we see that if I am able to satisfy any of the condition, then I am out of the ambit of project registration. So here at authority level, authority stick to their FAQ and they directed for registration of project with the penalty of some 30 lakh rupees on the project. And this order of the authority was challenged before the full bench of the tribunal, wherein there were 2 judicial member and 1 technical member. So 1 judicial member, that is chairperson, and the technical member, their view was that looking at the language of the section, project registration is not required since one of the condition is satisfied. But the another judicial member took the view that project registration is required because he was on the point that there are 2 phases of this drafting. One is where the area of land to be developed. So he believed that this area of land to be developed relates to plotting scheme, whereas number of apartment to be developed relates to the construction of an apartment. So if we want to analyze this situation, we have to go to the definition of real estate project, wherein we have 3 kind of project. One is plotting scheme without any development. Second is vertical building, that is purely conversion of land into apartment. And third one is plotting with construction of bungalow, wherein there is a plotting also and then there are construction of bungalow. So these 3 kind of situation can arise. So the language of the section is so badly drafted, so it led to the interpretation by 2 members of the tribunal that project registration is not required, whereas 1 judicial member dissented and said that project registration is required on that ground of that land, proposed land to be developed relates to plotting scheme. But again, logically, if we see the area of land proposed to be developed less than 500 square meter, and if we look at the plotting scheme in India, this 500 square meter is not logical for any plotting scheme. Plotting scheme requires lakhs of square feet or square meter. But if we look at Rule 4, Sub-Rule 5 of the Maharashtra Real Estate Project Registration Rule, where they have clearly defined the what kind of fees are payable by this 2 kind of project. One is plotting scheme and one is development of apartment. So there they have specifically mentioned that in case of plotted development, the fees are this, and in case of apartment development, the fees are this. So one can take a view that wherever legislation wanted to demarcate the differences, they have done it. They have done it in Rule 4, Sub-Rule 5. So again, to my mind, the judgment given by the 2 members of the tribunal will hold good. However, right now this order of the tribunal is challenged before Mumbai High Court and it is pending before the Mumbai High Court. Now, surprisingly, industrial development project, say for example, if a promoter is building a industrial estate on a particular plot of land, whether registration is required or not. If we look at the exemption provision which are given under Section 3, no such exemption is given. But if we look at the definition of apartment, there the words are residential or commercial. The word industrial is not there. So in one of the judgment at Maharera Authority, Techno Drive Engineering versus Indus Infra, this project was initially registered. It was granted registration number also. But when the complaint was filed against this project, the promoter argued that ours is an industrial project, industrial estate development. So RERA registration is not applicable to us, looking at the definition of apartment, that is use of the apartment. And again, RERA authority held that no registration is required. And today, if we see, this project is not on the RERA website, so it has again cancelled the registration also. Yeah, now this is also one of the burning issue. Say for example, a new project which is launched say in 2020. Today I am not going to do any marketing. So I complete the entire project out of my own fund. And after completion certificate, I wanted to sell it. Now there are no case laws on this issue, but I just wanted to brought it to the notice of participant. In such a scenario, whether Section 3 would be triggered or not. If we look at again at the language of Section 3, yes, such kind of project, even after completion certificate received, they are doing marketing, then project registration is required, because the condition of exemption was only for completion certificate as of 30th April 2017 and not thereafter. So again, such kind of project will require registration looking at the language of the act, because there can be various relief apart from completion of project, like conveyance, structural defect, and so on. So again, there are drafting error in the section 3. Yeah, unregistered project. Now, the RERA authority feels that RERA Act will be applicable only to the registered project or those projects which are registrable project but has not been registered for some reason. So now there are many such projects in India where promoter did not have any approved plan. So these projects are not registrable project, because section 4 of the RERA requires approved plan or commencement certificate for project registration. So such kind of instances were brought before MAHARERA authority. They have negated the claim of the consumer, saying that these projects are not registrable project and we will not deal with this project. You can have remedy in civil court, but not at RERA, or you can have remedy at consumer forum also. So again, these are the burning issue. The section 3 fails to track all such situation where promoter has mobilized the money, he has not received any approved plan, and now he is sitting very peacefully with no registration, and he is not penalized. So section 3 needs to be amended, to my mind, in this respect. As I said, non-registrable project. So again, such kind of project, the drafting of section should be made in line. Some directions are given to the developer either to refund the money or bring the approved plan as early as possible.
Ashwinji, I will interrupt you because we have another 3 speakers also.
Yeah, I'll just finish. 1 minute. I'll just finish. Yeah. So far as Gujarat RERA is concerned, there is only one tribunal judgment, Prathme Square matter. This was not a direct judgment on section 3, but here the facts were the land was purchased by 4 partners in individual capacity, and then firm was applying for registration. So Gujarat RERA authority refused the registration on the ground that there is no development agreement, there is no transfer of title from ABCD to XYZ firm. So when the matter reached before the tribunal, they said, okay, this could be the defect of non-availability of development agreement, but project needs to be registered, and the Gujarat RERA held that project needs to be registered. With this, I conclude my talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwinji. You have nicely covered the controversies in respect of section 3 and case laws in respect of the MAHARERA, GUJRERA and Goa RERA. And now we have advocate Abhilasha Sharma from Rajasthan. She will explain. I request Abhilasha to not to go in detail about the section 3, directly
Definitely, sir.
Jump into the case law study and rest of the controversies. So
Definitely, sir.
it's Abhilasha, please.
Warm greetings of the day to everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. So let me first take you through the roadmap of my presentation. I'll try to keep myself very brief and quick. So I'll be discussing 4 case laws, 2 case laws of RERA Rajasthan, 1 of Tamil Nadu Real Estate Appellate Tribunal, and 1 of High Court of Madras. So all these 4 case laws are very different and unique in themselves. First case is of RERA Rajasthan, which has become an authority in itself in the state of Rajasthan. So the case law is of April 2017, which talks about, the case law is Rahul Arora versus Royal Living Homes. So since we all know, as the two speakers have already discussed, that the term ongoing project has not been explicitly defined in the Act. So it has been now delegated to the authorities to define and to interpret the term ongoing project. So in this particular case, the 2 terms have been discussed by the authority in the RERA
Rajasthan, what authority has laid down first is that an ongoing project should be the one which is ongoing on the date of the commencement of the act, which is 1st May 2017. And secondly, that the completion certificate has not been issued. So now what we can, as the two speakers have already discussed, what is the important two subjects of this particular section? One is completion certificate and one is ongoing project. Now, completion certificate has been defined by section 2Q of the Central Act itself, which says that if the concerned local authority, after considering the layout plan, the structure and everything, and if they have issued the completion certificate, that is considered to be deemed completion certificate. Now, what is an ongoing project? Ongoing project, since it has not been defined by the Central Act, it has been defined by the different RERA authorities in their rules. For particularly Rajasthan RERA, Rule 4 has defined what are ongoing project. Now, ongoing project is again wherein the development is going on, completion certificate has not been issued. Now, what it says that where common areas, now there are certain exceptions which have been laid down in the rules itself. First of all, the first exception says that where the common areas and facilities have been handed over to the association for the maintenance, they will not be considered as ongoing project. Second point is where the sale lease or lease deed or sale deed has been given or executed of minimum 60% of the apartment. Thirdly, where the development work has been completed and the certificate has been issued by the chartered engineer. Fourthly, am I audible?
Yes, madam. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, screen is visible. Please go ahead. We have put your video off because there were some internet issues.
Yeah, Vilasha ji, you please continue. Please continue.
Just a second, sir. There is.
I think there is an issue in respect of this internet connection.
Yeah,
at Vilasha ji.
that's correct.
So we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. If it is not, then we'll hand over this session part to Advocate Nirija. So we'll wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
And at the last, we'll ask Abhilasha ji to cover his topic.
Yeah, sure.
Abhilasha ji, can you please continue now? I think so. It's the bug has been resolved.
No, I think it is continuing. We will call her back later. You can ask Nirija.
Yeah, so I'll request Advocate Nirija from Uttar Pradesh. Nirija ji, are you there?
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah, so Nirija ji from Uttar Pradesh, now she will cover this topic. I again request Nirija ji to be directly onto the analysis of the case flow study and whatever the controversies is there, instead of discussing the section 3. So Nirija ji, please continue.
Hello. Is my screen is visible to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, screen is visible. You can make it, full screen from the beginning, slideshow. Correct. Yeah, now it is proper. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. And first of all, I would like to thank Amit sir and Mahadev sir and Prabhu sir for giving me this opportunity to express my views on this section 3 case laws. Since sir has already discussed about section 3, so I will not jump onto the sections. I'll quickly go on to the case laws, which I have found out is relevant to know all of us. Just before that, Abhilasha, my learned friend, has already covered the rules which have been adopted by some of the states. So Chhattisgarh RERA as well as the UP RERA has already
adopted this ongoing project definition, which is not defined in the act. Since I've not covered the whole language of the section, I am just picking out only the relevant part where the project is considered to be ongoing, where the completion certificate is not issued, and secondly is the condition where the ongoing projects will not covered under the category of this. The reasons, 4 reasonings are given in this respect. That is the maintenance. If the project is given to the maintenance services handed over to the local authority, or some common areas and facilities being handed over to the RWA, 60% of the plots have executed, and even though the application for the completion certificate is filed, it is considered that it is not an ongoing project and no registration is required. Now, quickly jumping on to the Allahabad High Court judgment, which is still pending before High Court. In this Logix Builder Private Limited versus State of UP, what is held that the UP RERA has given the judgment in the favor of the complainant, stating that he is liable for the refund. But what is the basic thing that is required to be considered in this prospect in which the stay order has been granted by the Allahabad High Court is basically that the completion certificate is issued in March 2017. But the act came in May 2017. So they said the matter requires the consideration, and henceforth we need to see all the facts and circumstances of the case, and therefore this matters requires a consideration, because builder also, the allottee, because allottee was not a bona fide, did not come before the RERA court, and RERA court has overlooked this fact that allottee is a defaulter and has not the requisite amount to the builder. So this still requires a consideration, and on the technical ground, that is my opinion, that this will be decided since the completion certificate is already issued in March 2017. Now, quickly jumping on to the another judgment of UP RERA, which is very easily interpreted by us, because the project was registered, whether the applicant is entitled for refund, it is but obvious that yes. Which is very easily interpreted by us, because the project was registered, whether the applicant is entitled for refund. Sir, my voice is echoing.
Hello. No, your voice is audible. You can continue, please.
Okay, sir. So here the UP RERA has decided that yes, since the project is registered, the applicant is entitled for the refund, and they said that since the possession was to be given in February 2017 as per the agreement, but what the detail that has been given by the promoter in this respect is that the whole project will be completed in November 2017. So what the interpretation taken by the UP RERA in this case, that your agreement to sell was, as per your agreement to sell, your possession was supposed to be given in February 2019, and henceforth you are liable to refund the amount to the complainant. So in this case, the matter went into the favor of the complainant. So this is a very short judgment and very easily interpreted in this manner, and I'm quickly jumping on to the another judgment of the MP RERA, which is a very beautiful judgment, and I think whenever this section 3 invokes, that is my opinion, that this, the members have very categorically discussed section 3 in this manner. The facts of the case are that the apartment was not delivered. The delivery was to be given in 2011, which was already long past. So whether section 3 requires the authority can adjudicate in the manner which is duly registered. Here, the MP RERA has said that since the judgment came in May 2017, they said that all the projects in which the completion certificate is not issued, it is being considered that it is an ongoing project irrespective of whatever. Because this judgment is of May 2019, so they have taken the plea that completion certificate is not issued, it will come under the definition of the ongoing project, which they have interpreted, and henceforth the jurisdiction will come for all the projects which has not been registered under the act. So they have taken the plea of unregistered projects will be covered under the purview of the RERA Act. Now, quickly jumping onto the another judgment of the Chhattisgarh High Court in this PRT Constructions versus State of Chhattisgarh, what they have decided, where the Chhattisgarh RERA has passed the order that the completion certificate was not issued, whether the ongoing project required to come under the purview of the RERA Act, because there are certain shortcomings that are not fulfilled as per the terms of the Act. So they said that whether this Section 3 attracts in this case. So they have reiterated the Chhattisgarh RERA order, said that because there was an afterthought of filing this writ petition after 8 months. So they have said that since the writ petition is filed after 8 months, there is an afterthought of the builder, and henceforth they are required that this particular project is an ongoing project, and whatever has been reiterated by Chhattisgarh High Court has been same reiterated by the Chhattisgarh RERA, same has been reiterated by the Chhattisgarh High Court, and they have recorded that RERA, whatever the RERA has passed the order, completion certificate is not issued. It is an ongoing project. There are certain shortcomings as per the agreement which has been not fulfilled, is considered as an ongoing project, which is the first proviso of that section, and henceforth this decision has been decided in this manner. I have just picked only the part which is relevant to the Section 3. There are other things that have also been discussed in this particular judgment. So with this number, you can go through with the judgment in wherever, like whenever we draft it, we can refer this judgment whenever we invoke Section 3. Now, in the Madras High Court judgment, what has happened? This is very, very beautiful judgment which is related to the explanation of Section 3.2. The facts of the case were like, the whole project was registered, phase A was completed, phase B was not completed. So the issue is whether the different phases of the projects are required to be registered separately under the same project. So what the Madras High Court had decided that yes, it has to be required to be registered, because the whole project was already registered under, as a separate A project. So for the B project, they are required to get themselves registered with taking the consent of 2/3 allottees. If the project was not registered, then in that manner, they are required to get the project get themselves registered. Whether the consent required to be taken from the allottee, yes, the consent was required to be taken from the allottee. That is the judgment given by the Madras High Court, and stating that the second project, which is the Serene Kshetra project, that is required to be registered under the Act within 1 month. That is as per the order that has been given in the judgment. Now, coming on to the Maharera judgment, they have said that the occupancy certificate has been received in July 2017, and registration certificate issued in this point is a very interesting point, that a registration certificate is issued in favor of the respondent, the builder, but does not cover the building of the complainant, which Ashwin sir have already covered in their slide. Whether the unregistered project come under the jurisdiction of RERA, they said that this particular judgment, this particular building, hence it is not covered under the registration. The project or the building is outside the purview of the RERA, and he will not decide the case. So this case went into the favor of the developer basically. So this was the case, and I'll be quickly jumping onto the another judgment of MP RERA, which is Vinod Munjevar versus Himanshu Infrastructure Private Limited. In this case, what happened was the possession was to be given in 2017 and sale deed executed in 2016. Flat was still incomplete. Whether RERA Act applies here retrospectively, what has been decided by the MP RERA in this case, non-completion and non-refund will come under the category of an ongoing, because the refund has not been initiated, the completion certificate have also not issued. So therefore, what they have said that this particular project basically RERA Act is prospective in nature. I'll be coming on to the another judgment in which it has been decided by the Bombay High Court that it is a prospective in nature. There is no there is no retrospective effect. But in this case, why it has been considered that the project was neither completed, neither the refund has been given to the allottee, and therefore this RERA Act is a legal alternative. It is basically mandatorily applicable to the promoter. For the allottee is a legal, it is a legal alternative for them to, you know, to go before the court and ask for the relief. So in this case, we can say that that the RERA Act shall apply to all the ongoing projects because neither project was completed nor the refund is initiated. So I am quickly again jumping on to the another judgment of Bombay High Court, which this session has been, you know, initiated, or this session has been started. This particular judgment is basically specifies the crux of the today's webinar, whether Section 3 of the RERA Act is unconstitutional. What Bombay High Court has decided in this case that the application of the RERA is prospective in nature, and the promoter is entitled to prescribe a fresh prescribed limit for getting the remaining development work to be completed. And they also said that since there are different interpretation of statutes that we you know, always follow, so they have harmoniously constructed Section 3 read with Section 4, 5, 7 and 8 and with the rules read with the relevant rule of the state rules. So this has to be construed harmoniously, where the project is not complete, no completion certificate is being issued under the and not registered under the RERA, but the project is entitled to provide a fresh limit so that any, you know, development work which is yet to complete, the promoter can complete it. And because this is one of the main objective of the RERA Act is to promote real estate sector, it is a, you know, balance between for the promoters and for the allottees also. So these both needs to be, you know, harmoniously constructed so that the interest of both persons have been protected under this act. So now I am jumping on to one of the notifications of the Chhattisgarh RERA Court. Chhattisgarh RERA. When I visited Chhattisgarh RERA website, it was written CG. I was like, central government has initiated another website for RERA. Then I realized, no, it's a Chhattisgarh RERA site. So I felt very, you know, foolish about myself, how this can be happened. Anyway, yeah, Chhattisgarh RERA has invoked the second proviso of the Section 3(1), which is talking about the outside the planning area. So because they have specifically mentioned that it is the discretion of the authority, you know, to invoke this particular area. So what they have done for the welfare of the allottee, they have taken whatever which is outside the purview of the planning area to come under the planning area, so that all the projects are required to get themselves registered under the Chhattisgarh RERA. That has been the discretion of the authority which they have invoked in this case. Now, coming on to the UP RERA, what UP RERA has done in this manner. See, on the portal of UP RERA, what you will find that there is a separate portal that has been initiated for, let's say there is a, whenever we file a complaint, we initiate a complaint number. But in this case, it is an ombudsman policy, or you can say it's a whistleblower policy, where the complainant can tell that, oh, XYZ project is not, you know, he has not registered themselves and they are, you know, advertising it. They are selling the plots. So what UP RERA had done in this case, they have received so many complaints in this respect. So what they have done, whatever the projects which come within 10 kilometers of the vicinity of the Lucknow, they have initiated an inspection, a verification, and if required, they will take all the projects under the all the projects which is outside the planning area coming under the purview of the planning area. And henceforth, in this case, that is still into the consideration, but the inspection keeps on going on, and they keep uploading the inspection report on the online portal, which is available and everybody can see to it. So basically, this section has been invoked only for the interest of the allottee and the allottee and consumers in this respect. So jumping on to certain controversial interpretations, which I found that since RERA Act is a new act, and for every legislation to come into enforce, it takes a minimum amount of time period. Like Companies Act 2016, it took almost 3 to 5 years to get themselves. Sorry, sir.
2 minutes more, please.
Sir, I'm just taking 1 minute more.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir. So here there are certain points Ashwin sir have already covered. What I am going to tell in this case, that will ongoing projects have to where the sale or the construction, which is sale or the construction till receiving the registration. First of all, there is no provision. But on the other hand, what it has been given is that whatever the projects, they are required to get themselves registered within 30 days. That is given in another section. And in case the registration is not granted within 30 days, then it is deemed that it is meant to be that the registration is done, and that 7 days period will be considered after 30 days. Now, Ashwin sir have already covered this point, so I will not go into this. Is it compulsory for the promoter to register the project immediately after he gets the completion certificate? Ashwin sir have already covered this thing, so I am not taking this point. And how will RERA affect the advertisement in many phases? Because every project is liable to get themselves, registered as a standalone. So all the advertisement has to be done, separately. We cannot say that A project is already, in the advertisement, so AB will be covered in things. So they have to, to invite people to sell the plot or to advertise themselves. They have to show that A project has so and so details and B project and so and so details. So they have to construed differently, as given in the Madras High Court judgment. They have specifically ordered that yes, you are liable to get yourself registered under the second phase of the project with the consent of the allottees. Suppose phase 2 not registered but sanctioned obtained. So what will happen in this case? I have just covered this point. No phase is registered. If the phase is not registered, then as per the market requirements, the plan can be changed, the layout can be changed, the approval, whatever things can be required, that can be done on the promoter's part. But if the project is registered, then in that case, 2/3 of the allottees consent is required to be taken if there is any alteration, any addition or sanction plan, or whatever specification that has been given by by the promoter in the agreement or in its brochure, he has to go through. There are certain legal lacunas which I have found that yes, because of the act is so new, that there are certain legal lacunas which has been seriously being faced by the promoter. The first of all, in case where the project registration choose not to apply, or in case whether the registration is applied and refused for the registration. So in this, on the grounds that there are no clear land titles, no statutory permissions have been taken. So what authority, since the act is new for the authority also, so they are giving a reasonable period of time to to provide your relevant details and helping the promoters to fill their form in a proper manner, so that it is transparent for the promoters and for themselves also to understand for the future prospect that there is no difficulty that arises. This particular area still needs consideration, because in UP I think we are facing certain problems while providing a login ID or while providing certain details that we have to edit. There are certain areas that needs to be considered in this respect.
I think we are already we are crossing the time, so we have 2 speakers. So I'll request you to conclude.
This is the last slide of mine, sir.
Yeah, please.
Now, in this case, what I have found, there is a controversial interpretation. There was no definition of a promoter. The builder was the builder, the developer was the developer. Now they will come under the category of the promoter as per the RERA Act. And secondly, there were the agreement to sell has already been executed before 2017, and the different agreement to sell have been prescribed under the act. So therefore, the agreement to sell, which agreement to sell needs to be considered. What I have found, UP RERA has taken the plea, or UP RERA has taken this interpretation that what the agreement to sell, which has already been executed, is considered the same because it has been signed by both of the parties. Every state has its own view in this respect, and money recovered is the major part because they have already recovered certain money from the lottery. They have not created the separate escrow account. For the new projects, it's not an issue, but for the old projects, this is the point of concern that I would rather say. So concluding with this my today's seminar, I just wanted to say just last one thing, that for every act or law which come into force, it takes minimum 5 years of time period, to enforce themselves, removal of difficulties, to amend, to delete, as per the circumstances of the real estate sector, they have to go through. Like recently what ministry has done, they have recently extended the 6 months time period, taking about the circumstances which has been, we have been facing for the benefit of the promoters. So here I complete my slide, and I'm sorry that if I've made you bored, and thank you for bearing with me for 20-25 minutes. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Girija ji. It was nice presentation. You have explained all the controversy in a very nice way. And we with us, we will discuss the same thing in a 5 minutes at conclusion part also. So you have covered Chhattisgarh UP RERA rules and case laws related to that. And we will discuss some points are there regarding the maintainability of the complaint when the project is registered or not. We will cover that part also, that is covered by Ashwinji Shah also. So we'll come again. Now I think Abhilasha ji is there from Rajasthan. So Abhilasha ji, it's over to you. If you are connected, then please continue your this presentation and continue with your PPT.
Yes, sir. So am I audible now? I am humble apologies for some technical error.
You're audible. You can continue.
Yes. Even if the slideshow, if there is some issue with the slideshow, I would rather like to now talk about the case laws. So firstly, in the first case law, since I discussed that it has become Rahul Arora versus Royal Living Homes, it has become an authority in itself because the authority has very clearly stated 2 objects of an ongoing project which needs to be registered. First, it should be an ongoing project. Secondly, the completion certificate should not have been issued, and Rule 4 further elaborates, as I had already discussed, and I will not be going into it again because it's very time consuming. Now, the second case law which I would like to discuss is Kartar Singh versus Genesis Infrastructure. It is of 2019 judgment. Again, now very interesting issue which had happened in this case, that the respondent had alleged or averted that he had applied for the completion certificate with UIT Bhiwadi, and he had annexed with his reply the receipt. However, the authority, after undergoing and pursuing all the facts and the records, considered the issue and held that the receipt which was actually annexed by the respondent was merely the money receipt. It was neither the application nor the proof of the application nor the proof of the completion certificate which was issued by the UIT. So the authority held that it has to be rather registered with the RERA authority. Further, what RERA authority analyze the fact that if already 102 allottees have been allotted the project, why not remaining 100 allottees which have not been allotted the project? So there was some fishy element which the authority could perceive from the project itself, and therefore the authority held that it needs to be registered with the RERA authority. Now I would like to discuss the third case, which is of Reed, Tamil Nadu. and it is again of 2019 June. And very interesting and dramatic series of events happened in this particular case law. And the issue before the authority was that whether mere procedural violation, if there are mere procedural delay or violation on the part of the appellant or respondent, whether that particular project needs to be registered and whether can that project be considered as an ongoing project. So what had happened in this particular case was in 2011, the project started. And in 2011 itself, the appellant, the respondent, they had applied for the clearance with the local state authority for the environment clearance. Now, what happened was there was a delay on the part of state local authorities which had to give environment clearance. And in meanwhile, the project by the developer was completed in 2017 itself. Now, what had happened that because he had applied for the completion certificate, the issue, there was two authorities now involved. One was the Environment Clearance Authority and another was RERA Authority. Now, the issue before the Environment Clearance Authority is that can they issue post-completion environment clearance certificate? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue was, can the authority, Environment Clearance Authority, can they issue post-completion environment clearance certificate? Now, since the issue was, very nice that the slides are here. Sir, I may request you to please kindly go through the Tamil Nadu judgment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is the judgment which I am talking about. Sir, can we move to the next slide? Yes, sir. Now the issue before the authority, first the Environment Clearance Authority, I would like to discuss that since they realized after considering the facts and circumstances of this particular case, they realized that there was a technical error and delay on their part also. So they issued the environment clearance certificate with some penalties. Now, the major issue before the Real Estate Authority was that can such procedural violations be considered an ongoing project? So the court dwelled into three considerations. First, the date of the completion of the project. So which was 3/5/2017, which is much after 2 days after the coming in of RERA Central Act. So this was not an issue before the authority. Second was the completion of the project was certified by the engineer itself, and that the appellant had applied for the completion of certificate on 29/5/2017. So it was a very unique case in itself, and therefore after considering everything, after pursuing the records and the facts of the case, the RERA appellate tribunal realized that it cannot be considered to be an ongoing project because there was merely a procedural delay both on the part of the state authority as well as on the part of the appellant, and therefore the project was held to be not required to be registered with the authority. Now, the last case which I would like to discuss is of Madras High Court. Sir, if we can move the slides, please. Yes, thank you, sir. Now, and again, very interesting case in this particular matter. What had happened that it will take into account the explanation which is attached with section 3. I will not go into the details of the explanation because it has already been discussed by the speakers earlier. But what had happened was the major issue before the authority was, can two different phases of the project, can they be considered two different projects? So what had happened in this particular case, that the appellant or the respondent or the promoter builder, he had from the initial phase itself had said that the two phases of the project, they are one part of the project itself. They are not two different projects. However, since they were located into two village divisions, two revenue divisions, the different approvals were to be taken for the particular project. One was named as Srinath Kshetra and another was Adinath Kshetra. Now, so what had happened was, after the one phase of the project was completed, the appellant and after the RERA Act came into play. Now the issue was whether this particular project should be registered with the authority or not. So the appellant very cunningly said that it need not to be registered because they are two different projects altogether, and first has already been completed and it need not to be registered. Now the legal analysis we need to dwell into particular this case, what court considered that whether now at this stage can these two different phases be considered as two different projects, because each phase of the project has to be regardlessly registered with the authority. Now, the first thing which the court considered is that in the initial phase itself, the promoter had said that it's an integrated residential project and it's a group development scheme. Secondly, the appellant or the respondent said that the court now further had that the act, though it empowers the developer to develop building in phases, but it has to be from the very inception, as I already discussed. Now, then the court said so because now if the appellant or the builder wants to shade away from his liability to register it again, now it cannot escape the clutches of the law, saying that they are two different projects altogether. Sir, if we can move on to the next slide, please. Thank you, sir. So now what aspect was considered by the court was section 3.2 of the Central Act and explanation 2 and 3 of Rule 4 of Tamil Nadu RERA laws, which says that if there are any changes, modifications in the layout plan or the specification, or if there are any changes made by the promoter builder, then it has to be the consent of 2/3 of the allottees has to be taken approval of. In the present matter, since none of the above mentioned legal aspects of the law were taken consent by the allottees, therefore the court said that since these two different phases are of the same project and if they are ongoing project, they have to be registered by the authority itself, and they now cannot say, the promoter builder cannot now come and say that they are two different projects and need not to be registered. That's it from my part. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Madhav, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So now, thank you, Abhilasha ji, for a nice presentation and covering all the aspects related to Section 3. Now we have with us CS Nitin Grover ji from Haryana. Nitin ji, are you there? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So Nitin ji, now this session to you. Now you start, please, your presentation.
Okay. Okay, thanks to all of you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Is it in full screen?
No, you have to make it full screen.
Yeah, now done.
Yeah, now it is full screen. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I'm coming directly on the case laws. Before that, I would like to say only one thing, that we cannot forget Section 59.
Yeah.
So I'm not explaining section, but still Section 59 is the important one. So firstly, I'm starting from the Haryana, then I'll come on the Delhi, and I'll take 5 to 7 minutes because time has already passed 12:30. So first section for the Haryana is the Sahara India Corporation Limited, which is starting the construction in 1999. And completed the project in 2008. But still, RERA has given the notice to the Sahara India Corporation Limited for not taking a registration of the RERA. As per the Section 3, that was the ongoing project in 2016 and 2017 as well. There is only one reason: they were not having the completion certificate. Even though they were having the occupancy certificate, but they were not having the completion certificate till 2016 and 17. The beauty is, the respondent, it means Sara India Corporation Limited, has applied for the completion certificate on 30th 12 2008. These 12/2008 ko they have applied, but in 2017 completion certificate noted given to them, and the RERA authority of Gurugram RERA authority has declared that mere applying for the completion certificate is not enough. You must have the completion certificate, otherwise you are counted as a ongoing project, and they sent a notice of the 10%. Now the appeal is pending with the Haryana RERA tribunal. Second case, I am not representing the name because this is my relative's case and I am representing before the authority. The second thing is the property was around 500 square meter and it's 8 flats and it also under the planning area, but they were unregistered. And they got the notice for violating the rules section 3, and total cost of land approx. These figures are in round off only. So total cost of land was around 5 crores and development cost is 4,35 crores approx, and the total project cost is 9 crore 35 lakh. That was that's why I was saying about the section 59, because 10% penalty shall be, it may be imposed, it not shall be, penalty may be imposed up to 10%. So department is again asking for the 93,50,000 rupees for the penalty, but somehow we are fighting the case, and we will have the case in the favor of the SSC with the low penalty. So after considering the section 59, or we all should read section 59, this is a very important case law for all of us, which we can see in our sector or nearby colonies. Next, take 4 cases of Delhi. Delhi has disposed only 3 cases, and still 41 cases are pending with the Delhi RERA authority. First case is with Delhi RERA Rose Valley Welfare. Date of order was the on 5th. Hi, I am getting a message. Your internet connection is unstable. I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay.
You are audible.
So on 5th March 2020, before few months, the society, the penalty was only rupees 10,000 instead of 10% of the project cost, because the section itself says it may be imposed up to 10% under section 59. The penalty imposed on Rose Valley Welfare Society was 10,000 rupees, and they need to submit the affidavit as well that they need to refund money of all the buyers. Next case law is Blue Gore Defense Officers Welfare Society versus Delhi RERA. Date notice was sent on the 10th April 2019, and case was disposed on 21st August 2019. And they have proved that before starting and before advertisement, they have taken the RERA registration. So by mistake or by any error, RERA department was unable to get that the project is registered or not, but they have given all the proof and the DD of rupees 59,040 rupees as a fee as well. In the last case, Ma Shakti Multi-State Corporate Group Housing Society Limited. Notice was sent on 5th of August 2019, and case was decided on 12th December 2019. In this, the penalty was for the registration to, they need to deregister their society. There was no monetary penalty was imposed on them, but they are directed to refund the money of the all buyers, and the direction was given for the deregistration of the society. And the last case law was TR Sunway Shopping Mall Private Limited. Date of notice was 25th June 2019. Decided date was 26th November 2019. And in this project was no need to register because the project was forsaken. It means project was cancelled in 2000 itself. But I don't know how Delhi RERA authority has sent the notice to them. So they have submitted the affidavit. They have already refunded the money of entire buyers, and the project was forsaken in 2007. So these all are the case laws I would like to introduce. And for respecting of the timeline, I'm stopping here. And I hope I have given important case laws to all of you. Thank you. It's just because of shortage of time only. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nitinji. Thank you for your presentation and the case laws related to Haryana and Delhi. Now, I think everyone has covered this, and at the conclusion time, I will ask Amitji to give your conclusion mark on this topic. And we have a lot of issues in respect of section 3, whether completion certificate, because section 3 exception says the completion certificate is required to be received. Only then project registration is not required. Again, the limitation of 500 square meter and number of apartment, which is less than equal 8. the interpretation of these exception, interpretation of ongoing project, and the condition of ongoing project and for which completion certificate is not received, all are very important, and controversies are there in respect to, and everybody has explained in a nice way. So now I request Amitji Kedia from Rajasthan, President National RERA Federation. Hello.
Madhavji, there are some questions in the chat box, so we can take
Yeah, we
for
can
10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
We can take the questions, and we'll request the panelists, Abhilasha ji, Nirja ji, Nitin ji, yourself, Ramesh Prabhu sir, whoever want to answer those. So you can come over the questions, Madhav ji, and we can
yeah, I
take
think
10 minutes.
we have a first question from Setunath Mukundan. Good morning. As far as the withdrawal of fund of 70% based on certificate from CA, architect and engineer, the act may have to relook into the ratio of 70-30 during the COVID-19 era. The customer
restrict our questions towards section 3 rather than going to section 4 on that.
I think most of this section 3 related query are very less, I think so, because only that question is there.
There is one question which has been asked by Gitika. It said there are 700 complaints of unregistered project complaints. So Maharashtra considers unregistered project complaint also. As Nirja ji and Madhav ji both said, MahaRERA does not consider. Please put some light on it. Request Ramesh Prabhu also.
I'll just try to highlight this. Initially, MahaRERA was not entertaining any complaints of unregistered project. So when it was not getting entertained, naturally a writ petition was filed before the Honorable High Court. And in the Honorable High Court, a question was asked why a complaint made by the aggrieved person is not heard for an unregistered project. So MahaRERA submitted its reply saying that our software does not support to take the complaints of an unregistered project. They were said that the law does not allow that type of provision. So therefore, then the Honorable High Court asked them how much time you would like to get your software done. The MahaRERA submitted an affidavit saying that yes, we will complete it within 15 days. So the judgment was passed by 15th of August. That was 31st July, the judgment was passed by the Honorable High Court. As per the affidavit submitted by the MahaRERA, the unregistered project complaint also will be entertained like a registered project complaint by MahaRERA by enabling the software. Accordingly, from 15th of August 2018, I suppose, from 15th of August 2018, the complaints have started pouring in of an unregistered project. And however, the question still remains. Now MahaRERA is entertaining a complaints related to section 3 only. They are saying whether the project requires registration or not required registration. We will entertain any other complaints only for the project which are registered. And if the project is not registrable and it cannot be registered, then those complaints will not be entertained by MahaRERA. So the question now is, what type of complaints are entertained by MahaRERA online of an unregistered project? To determine whether section 3 registration is required or not required, only to determine that. Once the project is able to be registered, thereafter, once the project is registered, yes, other sections violation complaints can be filed. So this is how MahaRERA has now started taking complaints of unregistered project to decide whether it requires registration or not. But no other complaints of unregistered projects are still entertained, unlike MP RERA, unlike Chhattisgarh RERA and other RERA, where even unregistered project complaints are being entertained. Yes, over to you, Amit.
Yeah, so now I think so it's time, and I just come with a very rapid fire question to all the speakers, and would be starting like the speaker who is near to me in terms of kilometers where I'm sitting at Jaipur. So like first I will request Abhilasha, then Nitin, then Neeraj, then Madhavji, and then Ramesh Prabhu sir to answer this question. There is a very controversy which is there that 500 square meter and 8 units. So what it's like, or which has been put in place in section 3. So what is the right interpretation in your view? What are the like case laws? What are your understanding that they both need to be followed, or if one breaches, then also like we need to get the project registered? So request Abhilasha to first give the answer of the same.
Thank you so much, sir, for putting the question across. But I think so. It again depends on the facts and circumstances. But to my belief, that the word usage should be or, and it is again as per to the best interest of the consumers, the promoter builders, and to the stakeholders, that how the authority will go about the interpretation of it. And I think so more of a clarity is required from the central act itself with regards to that.
Next, Nitinji, please put your views on it.
So in my views, the section itself says nothing contained in subsection 1 of section 3. No registration of the real estate project shall be required, either 500 or 8. So if you are hitting any limit, let's say area is 200 square yards or 200 square meter, but the number of flats are 8 or more than 8. In my views, we need to get the registration, because there are exemption, and exemptions is two things. One is 500 square meter, second one is 8. If we are touching any limit, we have to take the registration, but we need to take care that area must be in the planning area, that your construction area must be in the planning area. If it's beyond the planning area, then there are exemption even for the both one. But if we are in the planning area and we are touching any limit, then we cannot avail that exemption, and we need to take the registration under section 3.
Neerjaji.
Sir, in my point of view, since section 3.2 is a non-obstante clause, that whatever is written in section 3.1, in spite of that, projects which is being exempted for the registration, that is projects which is beyond the planning area. And I agree what Nitinji has stated, that if the area of the land going to develop does not exceed 500 or 8 apartments, so there is any of the two conditions that are required to be fulfilled, and if required, the state government can reduce this 500 square meter and number of apartments as if it requires to them. So this is what I think, and this is the technical interpretation I would rather say in this particular section. I would like to interpret in that manner, sir.
Thank you very much. Madhavji, please, your expert opinion.
So my opinion and viewpoint is that this section, first we have to understand this law is for what, and this is the consumer-centric law, right? So the definition and the exception we have to understand in the spirit of the law. So what is the spirit of the law? It says that we have to protect the interest of the consumer in the real estate industry. So if we take such type of interpretation that 500 square meter, 500 square meter and number of apartment both should be number of apartments should be exceed 8, then project is required to be registration. Then according to my view, it would be absurd interpretation. And my view is that anything has it is written or, so we are not going to in the or, but the thing is that when either it is cross 500 square meter or either it is cross 8 number of apartment, the project needs to be registered. Otherwise, what would happen in the small cities like Bombay, we can say Maharashtra, that there are huge projects, and the small cities there when the promoter will make a planning, because the explanation of section 3 says the project is required to be registered in a phase wise. So what promoter will do with they will planning in such a way that the number of either area would be lesser than 500 square meter or the number of apartment would be lesser than 8. So they will make a planning and that will not come under the registration purview. So my interpretation is that we should understand this exception in the spirit of law, and the registration is required either it cross the number of 8 unit or it cross the 500 square meter. Thank you, Amit. This is my view.
Sir, your views, and sir, I will also request you to conclude the webinar also after that, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. I think section 3 is heart of the entire, RERA. And I would suggest that either one of the condition is fulfilled, it has to be registered. At the end of the day, I do not understand why the builders are so much afraid to register the project. They must be under the impression that if the project is not registered, RERA is not going to cover it. It's absolutely absurd and wrong. According to me, whether you are registered with RERA or not registered with RERA, from 1st May 2017, RERA has become effective across India, and therefore the law is applicable to you. Only thing, if it is a very small project for the purpose of not to having a compliance issues, therefore an exception, or rather registration exception, is given to subsection 2 of section 3. So I think one should voluntarily do the registration. Maharashtra, I would say, more than 100 to 150 projects are registered, even less than 8 units and less than 500 square meter, because people are understanding once it is registered with RERA, we are also giving a sort of authenticity, the one sort of the value to the project, and they are bringing the transparency in the project. And therefore I would suggest that every promoter, when you want to do the business, let us do the business the way it is required to be done. Let us respect the regulator, let us respect the regulation which has come. Let us not look at the the ways and means to avoid it. If you are thinking of ways and means to avoid it, that means you will be a small person, you cannot grow. When you want to grow, you want to be publicly seen, you have to bring all things on the public domain, and that is the crux of the RERA. That is a transparency and efficiency. And as Birla has rightly pointed out, Mahadev, it is consumer centric. Therefore, let us say that whatever may be the provisions of section 3, conclusion, I would say that RERA India Education and Resource Federation will see that maximum people register the project. We will guide them to get registered at the project, and going forward to comply with the provisions of RERA. With this, thank you very much, Mr. Amit Keda, President of RERA India Education and Resource Federation. Thank you for the entire panel. I don't want to take the name. Everybody has known your expertise you are given. You have delivered more than what was expected of you. And I think we are already at 1 o'clock. I think it has been a fantastic day. And let me tell you, today morning, I got a call from Anthony Disa, the chairman of MP RERA, and he has asked the recording of today's webinar, because he tried to connect with us and he has some other important meeting to attend today. Therefore, he is not able to do it. And that is the interest everybody is showing about today's controversial issue. It is a controversial issue, but we as a people involved in it need to settle it. And I think each of you have really put your efforts. Full 1 week you have spent, and I think you have made the day. Now,
sir, sir, a mistake has been incurred by me, sir. I forgot Ashwinji to put his remarks on section 3. Ashwinji, are you there?
Yeah. See, at tribunal
the
level,
star speaker and the beginner need to be given a conclusion also.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Yeah,
for
yeah,
interrupting.
go ahead. Yeah,
See, when this question was before the tribunal, they have not discussed on this issue whether this or, the word or, that is, if I satisfy any of the condition, then I'm out of the RERA project registration or not. The main thrust was on two facets of the that sentence, where area of land to be developed. So that was related to plotting scheme, and number of apartment was related to the construction project by the judicial member who was dissenting from the majority, who has affirmed that no project registration is required. Since the matter is now pending before Mumbai High Court, let us wait for some time. We will have a better conclusive judgment. But practically, yes, what Rameshji said, whenever we don't register the project, then again sub-registrar will harass you while registering the agreement for sale. Even housing loan financer will also be not comfortable for the project which are not registered, and even the customer confidence also has to be looked upon. So practically, every promoter will certainly go for project realization. This is a theoretical understanding, and whenever some promoter are trapped by some, and particularly the penalty should not be levied, because these are the judicial interpretation involving lots of difference of opinion. So penalty should not be levied in such kind of scenario. So let us wait for Mumbai High Court.
So, Ramesh sir, I'm very thankful that Mahaseva through you is guiding all. Like it's your guidance with which RERA India Education is able to perform to bring these knowledge pool sessions. So thank you very much, Ramesh Prabhu sir, for your efforts in giving us the mentorship. Over to you, Ramesh Prabhu sir, for the concluding remarks and for concluding the webinar, sir.
Thank you very much, each one of you, as I said, including Ashwin Shah, who has given a wonderful conclusion. Now, next Sunday, we are coming out with another very, very important. This Sunday, we have seen about the entry, that's a registration. Next Sunday, we are coming out with the exit. Once, because of the COVID and other reasons, and the projects are not taking the shape, how can a person invoke section 18 and then exit? So part of the section 18 exit is going to be discussed, and every week we are coming out with one or the other section, and in the days to come we will be discussing a landmark judgment. Maybe after 15 or 20 days, or maybe after 3 or 4 weeks, we are going to discuss about the entire judgment of Bombay High Court of Nilkamal Realtors versus Union of India, writ petition 2737, because that is going to be considered as a celebrity judgment. So maybe we require more analysis of that. That judgment can be read and understood only when we understand various sections of RERA. Therefore, we are putting a stepping stone now, and over a period of over a month's time, we will definitely be discussing that. And one more thing which has come as a suggestion, Amit, we need to discuss and understand internally also. There need to be question answer session. The way people have appreciated our webinar on funding, that when we called Irfan Kazi, and you and me asked the question by combining the questions. So people have liked. What I got lot of messages in my WhatsApp right now saying that, Mr. Prabhu, why don't you repeat those question answer session? Let the moderator ask the question, and person should give the answer. Otherwise, what it happens is they are not able to keep the track of what is happening. So I think that is also a good suggestion. We need to build the question answer session from the participant. Maybe we'll have 1 or 2 people as the asking the question and other people answering it, and they are also given in advance on which subject we are going to ask the question. I think we can develop that model, which will be appreciated, because we do 2 GST seminar on that model. What we did is, one penalty is asking a question, another is answering, because GST, as you know, is a complicated subject. But when it's asking a question, other person is giving a reply, it becomes more easier and convenient. And those are all PPT mode. That means question is also put in the PPT, answer is also in the PPT. I think that becomes a well-structured presentation. We think, I think we should go ahead with that, so that people also get a different, voices to hear, and then they also become more attentive. Thank you very much, each one of you, and RERA India also. Yeah, we are concluding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.